Good morning. What a beautiful group of people. And it became summer overnight. I told you it was going to happen. We just had to be patient. It's remarkable how nice out it is. As always, when we have a larger group, as we do today, it's inevitable that there's a range of experience in the room. And there are times when I feel it's important to just tap the brakes a little bit, and rather than offer my glorious words of wisdom, to just have a conversation or make sure that there's things that what we're doing here are clear, and if you have any questions about the form and the ritual and the meanings and designs of this experience, that you've got a time and a place to talk about it. So this is the time and this is the place. Why do we do this? Why do we walk through the door a certain way? Why do we sit like this? What's the point of being still? Why do we keep our eyes open when we sit? What are all the bells about? Those kinds of questions. Who's this girl up here? Anybody have any questions about anything going on here?
Why do we do this?
Not you.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Why do we keep the statue back behind everybody? Or in this sense, off to the side?
The placement?
Yes.
Well, I don't know that there's a particular rigid form. If we had a different style room, if this room were more rectangular, the altar would be at the head of the room, and we would be facing each other in rows instead of like this.
Okay.
So it's kind of a matter of the convenience and the layout of the room. And because of COVID, we've had to move cushions farther apart from each other. So, does that make sense? Does that make sense? When we came here originally, we thought we could put the altar there, but it just didn't work. Coming and going became clumsy with the doors and so forth. So that's just the way it worked out.
Okay.
Thanks for asking. And she can keep an eye on us that way too. That is the green Tara. If you have done any reading about Buddhism, you know that Taras are mythological characters, and there are, I think, 6 different colors. There's purple and blue and black and white, and they all represent different qualities that we carry as human beings. The green Tara usually is interpreted as being the part of us that is the compassionate part of our nature, the loving, compassionate part of our nature. And we were given that particular piece there by the abbot Jumpo Kondo Dennis Kelly when we founded this Sangha many years ago, and she's been traveling with us all these years. And it was the fact that we're in Green Bay had nothing to do with it, I think. I think the green Tara just made sense. We were the first Sangha that he founded, and he, I think, correctly determined that as an instrument of caring and compassion, it was appropriate we have the green Tara. And when you have time, I invite you to get up real close and look at it. It's absolutely breathtakingly beautiful. It's hand painted in Thailand, I think, Tibet. It's hand painted, and it's gorgeous, gorgeous. Thank you for asking. Any other questions like that?
Why black specifically?
Why black? Why black? Well, every tradition has its own preference in color, and I can't tell you why this particular school of Zen uses black. However, if you were to go out to Daibosatsu, kind of our home monastery in New York, you'd find a lot of brown. So every tradition has its own color.
So it's not just Zen in general. It's,
No,
we do both.
excuse me. We do black partially because it's less distracting. If you're sitting behind Caden and he has a Hawaiian shirt on with lots of wild colors, it's going to be distracting. And black is very, very simple, less distracting. Thank you. Very good question. You can, if you want, wear Hawaiian shirts. I would ask you not to do that. We could have a Hawaiian shirt day. Everybody wear it.
Jim?
Can you set us up?
See what I can do with some people.
And everyone knows that we ask you to enter this room with your left foot and your hands in gasho. And I ask you to remember to do that. It slows you down for just that nanosecond, begins the process of dropping into meditative state. Rushing up the stairs and you're afraid you're going to miss the bell or you're not going to get your favorite seat. Rushing up the stairs and blow through the door, look for that favorite seat and see who's here and all that business. No. Approach this space in a sacred manner. Approach this space in a serious way. Hands together, stop at the door, slight bow from the waist, and step in with the left foot. That's the beginning of the practice. Come in, bow to your seat, take your seat, get comfortable. Caden has been doing a wonderful job in the last few months of getting us in here early. Well, he's always looking for the clock when we're down there. And then you walk around and show us it's time. Good Zen man, he doesn't even say anything, he just sort of holds up the clock, and we're supposed to know what that means. But all these things have their purpose. If you're late and you can't avoid it, of course, rush up the stairs, but still stop at the door. Begin your practice at the door. And the left foot is intentional because it's part of that being aware, it's part of paying attention. I've asked all of you, or most of you, when you come here the first time, how many doors you've gone through today. And the answer is always the same. I have no idea. Because we do these things automatically and unconsciously. Well, we don't do anything unconsciously here. Or we work toward not doing anything unconsciously here. Clear? What else? Ladies?
I read
Heavy
something
sigh? Yes?
recently.
You're the newbies, I gotta pick on you.
About the Dalai Lama and what happens should he pass, which apparently he is very healthy. To what extent, I suppose it's not happening like tomorrow or anything, but to what extent would that impact things here?
I would be very sad to lose him. I think he's made a huge difference in the world. It'll have no impact on our practice. It'll impact me personally for a time, but the Dalai Lama represents the Tibetan school, one of the Tibetan schools. It just so happens that he's a rock star.
He is a rock star.
He is a rock star. Everybody, you could live in anywhere. Everybody knows the Dalai Lama, but that's a particular dimension, a particular school of Buddhist tradition, and there are many different traditions. Vajrayana and Chan and Zen and Hinayana and Mahayana and Ananda. Vipassana Zen is very big. So he represents that one particular school from Tibet. And he's a rock star because he's brilliant and because he's made himself present. He represents the Dharma in the world more than anyone I can think of. Thich Nhat Hanh would be on that list too. Yeah. But it wouldn't affect us. We're a different school. We're West High, we're not East High. But that's an interesting thing to consider, because there's a lot of controversy about his heir. The Chinese have apparently picked somebody of their liking that they want to impose in his position when he dies.
I was reading that,
Yeah, and the Chinese control Tibet, so we'll see what happens. And he has also publicly said that he might be the last Dalai Lama. He's not really very attached to the idea of having another one. Which is pretty cool. Huh. According to the story, when the Buddha was laying on his deathbed, apparently having eaten bad meat or something, he was asked, his followers were wailing and lamenting, what do we do now? What do we do now? What do we do without you? And he said, have you learned nothing? Have you learned nothing? You're in charge of your fate. You're in charge of your destiny. You're in charge of your practice, how you show up in the world. You don't need the Buddha. So if for some reason this group were to go away, and I don't imagine it ever will, you'd still be able to practice, wouldn't you? Put a candle in the corner of your bedroom, put your pillow on the floor, and sit down. The community is important. I think the community is really lovely, but it's not essential. What else? Does that make sense? Okay. Yes?
I don't know, I don't have any questions.
Good.
I'm just kind of observing and, well, I guess, why do we walk in a circle? Why do we walk at all
Till.
in the practice when we get up?
The term for that is kinhin, K-I-N-H-I-N. The person who sits in this position is called the jiki. And this person, whoever it is, it's Shunya on Sundays, has all the power in the universe. She starts the sessions, she ends the sessions, she leads us on kinhin, and she can also decide never to let you get up. She has that much power.
So I feel it energetically. Ring the bell.
That's right. Remember that time you fell asleep?
I didn't fall asleep.
The intention, if I may, of kinhin is I judge as twofold. One is to move, because it gets difficult to sit, and to do ritual form and to get up. It's a chance to use the bathroom if you need to do it, just to get up and move around. And at a different level, kinhin is also a reminder that this is artificial practice. You come in here, you do what you're told to do, sit down, shut up. And now we're done. Now you got to go out there, and really that's where the practice is. Your partner, your boyfriend, your mom, your dad, your boss, your neighbor, that's where the practice is. How do I show up when I'm triggered by something out in the world? Can I show up with the same kind of solid stillness that I have on the cushion? So that's kind of a metaphorical experience to do the walking, because now it's going to get hard when you leave here. This is easy. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when you yell at somebody later, remember.
We'll try.
No trying. No trying.
Doing.
Master Yoda. But that's an important question. Thank you for that as well, because it isn't clear. We don't have to. I have made the effort. I'm not always successful. That when we bring people here, we don't tell them a lot of things. We don't say page 1, for example, but I can't get Shunya to stop doing that. I figure
That's 'cause
people.
I have all the power.
You do have all the power.
Reminder.
I'm a figurehead. I'm a figurehead, but in a traditional setting, you come in unknowing and you just watch the experienced people and figure it out. And if we're going to read in the book, nobody should tell me it's page 1, right? I should probably start there.
Well, you never know.
I know. They'll figure it out on their own. What do you got?
Nothing.
Nothing? You're hiding. You know I can't see you.
Yeah.
Get over here.
I feel guilty for not being here for so long.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Have those feelings.
Come see us more.
Take a big bite out of it and chew it up. Enjoy that. It's that you're telling yourself something. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Everyone is welcome. And if you want to feel bad, you can. You have my permission to feel shitty. I don't know.
Speaking of Kinkin, could you go through that process? Because I think just to clarify so everyone knows what they should be doing during Kinkin and how the process of leaving the room.
Sure. You want to do that, boss?
All right. So the bell rings, and we end our sitting period. And then you take your time, because everybody needs to take care of their own bodies. No falling over, okay? And the GP then tells you it's time now to walk. So we're all standing. Slight bow. And you notice that because for me, my practice, that part of that slowing down is to, again, use my left foot. We start out, and then this person would follow me, and then this person, and you, and then Nikki. So it's always from the outside in, so that when we come around again, you're only going to cross in front of your person once. And then we're walking, and you want to be only about an arm's length. Eyes probably about waist high, middle of the back, whatever. And you're just really trying to stay concentrated, but now you're going to have distractions. So every time you get distracted, you do the same thing that you do on the cushion, you just bring yourself back to walking. Walking, breathing, walking. There's a certain amount of time that we do that. Then you hear the clap, and you notice that we sped up because it's all important that we get back to our cushion. Quickly. Back to our cushions. I set these down. You all gather in front of your cushions, and then I give you one bell.
Ready?
You go. You sit. I relight the incense, and then 3 more bells, and we're back at it. Which is actually what we did in the beginning when I hit the clappers once and I rang the bell 4 times. So that's always the start of a sitting practice. 1 clapper, 4 bells. Questions?
In the hand position,
Yes.
it isn't gacho.
Yes,
It's your right hand,
Loosen.
loose fist, your left hand over the top, and your forearms parallel with the ground. Kind of tuck it in your hara a bit so that your back is straight. Yeah.
If I may, another, as you mentioned, the important part is an arm length apart. Congruency, not 1 foot, someone's 3 feet behind, everybody's walking in different directions. Because I think also metaphor is for singular practitioners to come together, interconnected as one. And you'll see as groups become camaraderie and get to know each other, that a Kinhin line will form a life of its own as like one organism over a period of time instead of 10 separate practitioners doing their own different thing. So the arm length apart, I think, is really important. So worth mentioning.
Sometimes known as the centipede. Thank you. All right. Well, why do I keep hearing something? Sounds like somebody's coming up the steps. It's 9:30-ish, so why don't we stop? And those who are interested, some of us will go to the attic and eat cinnamon rolls and coffee. And you have to come. Okay? What?
Ricky.
Ricky's dragging you?
So, you didn't drag it?
Good, make him buy you something too.
Yeah.
So,
It ain't you, it's the cinnamon roll, right? Thank you all for being here today in your practice.